When I talk with people about self-care, I'm very quick to also say that my form of self-care may not be the same as your form of self-care. Just like individualized treatment is important for any disease prevention or recovery, you have to be able to use what works for you. And making sure that you are focusing on all areas of your functioning, looking at the whole person, yourself as a whole person.
I once heard addiction described as a lack of coping skills, and I really think that that just captures how when someone becomes physiologically or psychologically dependent upon a substance, all of their other coping skills kind of go to the wayside, and they basically train their brain to think, I feel good, I'll use. I feel sad, I use. I need energy, I use. So what we're doing is coming back and reteaching them. When I feel sad, I'm going to reach out and talk about it. When I feel sad, I'm going to listen to uplifting music. These things may sound basic, but it's really important to remember that emotional intelligence is not the same thing as the intellect up here, and we get confused about that.
You have to be proactive in your self-care, and that involves your mental health care. I want to make sure that I am at a good spot to serve the public, do the best at my job, and to stay healthy for myself and my family for a long time. It's no different than working out. You have to eat right, you have to exercise, you have to have good physical health, you have to have good mental health, you have to have good emotional health.
You have to take time and make sure that you're eating right, make sure that you're getting enough sleep. That seems so trite at times, but really it's so important that you are putting nutrients in your body and exercising and sleeping.
Drink water, rest your body, be physically active, breathe. These are all things that our bodies need in order to function. That's universal. Those aren't things that just you need or just one culture needs. We all need those things in order to be healthy and well.
I think each of those pieces has a little different answer. Today, I know it sounds overly simple, but the basics of our self-care. Make sure you get good sleep, hydrate well, don't forget to eat. One Buddhist master said their miracle was when they were tired they slept, and when they were hungry they ate.
What are we doing for our physical health that meets up with that priority? Are you going and getting your annual physical? Are you eating right? Are you getting some sort of exercise? Are you sleeping enough? Are you going for a massage or an acupuncture or getting out in the sunshine or whatever it is, that you're lacking? Are you doing those things, or are you just telling yourself you should?
We have to go to the primary care doctor and say, I just want to know, how am I doing? How is my health?
If we talk about next month and things of that nature as far as your self-care, maybe there are some things that you want to do to develop either personally or professionally, some goal that you've had that you've always kind of wanted to do. Do a little something toward that.
It's important for the community, and it is important to, at the very least, the one person that you interact to. If you don't take care of yourself, you're not being a good professional. You are robbing the people that pay you, and they're robbing the people that you count on of being your best self. And if you don't take care of yourself, you're robbing yourself of positive interactions with, at the very least, your family, with your wife. And you're robbing yourself of the ability to be happy, or the ability to realize, even when you do have a small victory, that that's a good thing.
Being authentic, being yourself is the most important thing. Being open and being able to take feedback.
Take their own advice and take care of themselves. A lot of what we're doing specifically with addiction at least, is we're giving treatment, and a big part of that treatment is helping people understand you have to take care of yourself, you have to prioritize your recovery, you have to do all of these things even though other areas of your life seem to be falling apart. Don't worry about your finances right now. Worry about staying clean, because you're never going to get your finances under control if you're not clean, right? So we're constantly directing them to self-care. That's how you get well from addiction.
There's a spiritual component, there's an emotional component. What transpired after that, it again became personal. So whatever we need to do to witness the miracle of recovery, that's what I would suggest, that people go to open Narcotics Anonymous meetings or Alcoholics Anonymous meetings or Al-Anon or Nar-Anon to feel that there is hope from this disease.
Folks that leave here and really integrate themselves into a 12-step community and get that sponsor and the home group and reach out and begin to build those supports do exceptionally well. And that again speaks to the community piece. The other component is teaching folks skills to manage their emotions.
Keep an open mind to the fact that they're going to be affected, the entire population. This is population health. We're all going to be affected by this.
If we educate ourselves on any given problem, we can speak intelligently about it, and if you can speak intelligently about it, then you will come up with solutions to fix it.
Designating time that's not work related. Also making sure that you are actively involved in something that will help your physical well-being. Actively involved in things that will help your emotional well-being and your spiritual growth.
You just need to practice. If that's the one takeaway, you really do need to set aside even 5 minutes a day to do some breathing exercises or meditate, foster that whatever spirituality you particularly have or want to attain. It really is a question of making it a priority, just as you would making sure you're eating lunch or getting someplace safe.
I am a man of faith. I go to church every Sunday. My kids go to CCD. Being grounded in that faith, going to see somebody to make sure that I'm just staying as healthy as I can, trying to stay physically healthy, and having some good peer contacts or good other adult contacts to talk through stuff with. I'm blessed to have a great wife who I can talk to and say, hey, listen, this is not a good day for me today, and this is why this is not a good day for me. And she will listen, and that's great.
Call folks that you care about. Talk to them after work. If there's a community organization that you enjoy being a part of that doesn't feel a burden, be a part of that. That's something you can do today.
Another important component is making sure that you're involved in your community. If you can get yourself involved, participate on a board, or volunteer for an organization, another caregiving type organization, you can see the impact, the change that they're creating, then that can help you to feel rejuvenated and that the work that you're doing matters.
Well, that's easier said than done. And the truth is, no, it's not. It's not easier said than done. It can be done. If you're saying that something's a priority, then that means that's a priority.
If you yourself are struggling with that stigmatic thinking, it's understandable because we've seen so much pain and loss and hurting. If you're recognizing that in yourself, that you get help as well, that you go and you talk to somebody and even meet with people who have survived being revived by Narcan and are in recovery and are learning to function in society in a way that they're giving back, because I think relationships are so vital to healing stigma.
So if you look at it and you keep wanting to blame people, where does that get you? It gets you frustration, it gets you anger. But if you look at it and say, wow, these people really are sick in their disease and they need help, and what can I do about it? How could I contribute to helping them?
Make a list of things that are important, like an actual physical list of things that are important to you, taking apart that list and identifying where they fit into your life. You're looking at your list of priorities and you're saying, my family is the most important thing to me. But when you look at the time that you spend within each area of your life, your family is only getting 5% of your time. That doesn't match up. And when we have sort of that disconnect, it creates a lot of anxiety for people and internally, and it creates a lot of disruptive self-appreciation, self-love. And so looking at that, identifying what those priorities are, and identifying a way to make your actions meet that priority list, that's a pretty general way to start.
Typically when someone has an incredibly strong reaction, there's something going on in their life or their family's life. Because if they didn't care, if it didn't affect them, then they would shrug their shoulders and say, this doesn't affect me, I go on.
If you're saying family is a priority for me, but I only spend 5% of my time with my family, where are you spending the bulk of your time? For a lot of people to say, well, work, I'm working all the time. Like, okay, you need to stop working all the time.
Making sure that you have time with your family, and if you don't have strong family connections, that you're creating family. You're creating people within your life that you consider family, that you want to spend time with outside of work.
Doing things that you enjoy, taking that time to embrace activities that bring you hope and give you joy in your life.
This week, maybe set aside a little bit of time for something that you really enjoy doing that kind of recharges your batteries. Whatever that is, whatever that hobby is that you really enjoy doing, carve out a little bit of time to do that. Invest time where you really get that return. For instance, if family is super important, that's where you want to spend that time.
If you're saying making all this money that I need to make to pay my rent and take care of my family, that's the priority, then it should be financial stability is the number one priority. in which case your actions are meeting up with that list. But if your heart's saying, no, spending time with my family, being there for my family is the priority, then actions need to meet up with that. There's no better way to get self-care.
When you allow life to squeeze out that half hour, 45 minutes of you time, then it wins. You allow everything to be more important than you. If you just carve out that time that's just walking, then you have 45 minutes to yourself, and you can kind of take some stress out of that bucket so it's not overflowing for that 45 minutes a day. Just do something for you, whether it's mindfulness or meditation or exercise, something for you, half hour, 45 minutes. That, at least for me, does the most to fighting off bad things, to just kind of keep your head above water and let you get a little bit of perspective and a fresh set to deal with what's coming.
If you don't take care of yourself, nobody else will.
All of those things can really help in terms of helping someone take good care of themselves, because frankly, the better we take care of ourselves, the better we can take care of somebody else. And oftentimes we forget that when we're running call after call. It's like the old business saying, you know, it's hard to remember when you're up to your hips in alligators that your first goal was to drain the swamp.
And then many providers of that treatment are not doing that exact thing. We see that all over healthcare. I see overweight doctors telling patients to lose weight. I see people who don't exercise or eat right telling patients to do that. The same thing needs to apply here. People need to take their own advice.
And you get to realize that you're not alone. These problems do exist, these feelings do exist, and there's ways to get through them. And I think at least nobody can get through this without doing this. If you think you can, you're not going to be effective. You're going to be 3 divorces in, and you're going to be, retiring on a disability. You can only do this stuff for so long without using these steps to take care of yourself and get through it.
Like Mr. Rogers said, you can look to the helpers.
You have to be mindful of it. You have to make sure that you are taking the time to practice, exercise your compassion, and refill your cup.
If we don't take care of ourselves, nobody wins in that situation.
You can't go wrong if you do the right thing for yourself and everyone else.